If you have a son, especially if he's between the ages of about 15 and 25, he's 3 times more likely to die than a girl of the same age, and the main cause of that is motor vehicle crashes. Thankfully, we now have a lot of answers to why young men die as often as they do on our roads. Basically, we used to think that by about the age of 16 that the young people's brains were reasonably mature. But what we've discovered through brain scanning technology is 2 things. Firstly, that boys' brains are much slower in developing than girls, often by as much as 2 years. But the other really big discovery is that during adolescence, the human brain melts down basically. It becomes incredibly disorganized and only slowly rebuilds into a mature brain by about the age of 24. That means that the teenage years, often young people's thinking, while it may sound good and they can say the right things, they very easily drop back to impulsive or emotional thinking. Anyone who's got a 12 or 13-year-old will know what I'm talking about there. The first year of driving is clearly the most dangerous, and we have very precise research that tells us when and how it's dangerous. If a young man is driving by himself, he's relatively safe. If you put a girl passenger in with him, interestingly, he's safer still. If he has a male friend, the risk to them both increases somewhat. But the really huge finding is that if you have 2 or more passengers, so a couple of mates in the back of the car and they're all young, the risk of a fatal accident increases by 400 to 500%. These are the accidents that we're wanting to prevent. Now, being a young person is all about independence. You want to go it alone, and that's what we want as parents, for our kids to be able to get out into life. And so the main things that we can do to make sure that happens safely is those situations where it's late at night and where there are groups of young people traveling together. If you're a parent of a young person, then offering to drive them at those times, avoiding the times and situations where it's a big group, and just putting up with another year or so of helping out while they get the practice at handling cars that'll make them safe with their friends later down the track. By having laws that allow young people to get lots of experience at driving alone or with older people in the car, it means that they'll survive that vulnerable first year and go on to have a long, safe life of happy driving. That's exactly what, as a community and as parents, we really want to achieve. Thank you for listening.